The cat had been climbing onto the bed for the afternoon snack for 7 years. On a Monday in October, he stopped. Tomasina Reyes was 40 and a high school chemistry teacher, and the kind of mother whose 10-year-old daughter still wanted to come home and tell her about every detail of every day. The cat, a slightly overweight British shorthair named Bartholomew, blue-gray, 11 years old, dignified in the way that cats of his weight class often are, had been with the family since before the daughter was born. The daughter's name was Frida. Frida had been having her after-school banana on her bed at 3:15 since first grade. Bartholomew had been climbing onto the bed at 3:15 since the day she started. He did not eat the banana. He did not steal the banana. He sat on the pillow beside her shoulder and watched her eat it, and accepted a small piece of crust if she shared. It was a ritual. The household revolved around small rituals the way most households do. That Monday, Bartholomew did not climb onto the bed. Frida came home. Frida went upstairs. Frida sat on her bed. Frida peeled the banana. Bartholomew stayed in the doorway. He looked at her. He sat down. He did not move. Tomasina passed the doorway with a laundry basket and saw the cat sitting like a small bronze statue in the hallway, looking at her daughter. She said, "Bart, what's the matter?" Bartholomew did not look at her. He looked at Frida. Frida said, "He doesn't want any today." Tomasina laughed. She moved on with her laundry. On Tuesday, the cat stood in the doorway again. Frida ate her banana. The cat did not climb up. On Wednesday, the cat was in the doorway, but he had moved 12 inches farther away from the bedroom, toward the hall bathroom. He sat there. He watched Frida. On Thursday, Frida came home and said she was thirsty and drank 2 large glasses of water and ate her banana and asked for a third glass. The cat watched from the bathroom doorway. He did not come into her bedroom at all. Tomasina, who had been a high school chemistry teacher for 14 years, who had taught the unit on diabetic ketoacidosis to 1,000 teenagers in lab safety contexts, who had explained to her own students what ketone breath smelled like and what acetone derivative odors meant in a human body, did not connect the cat's distance to anything that mattered. She thought the cat was getting old. On Friday, Frida came home and ate her banana and went to her desk to do homework and then put her head down on her arm and said she felt funny. Tomasina, walking by her room, registered something she did not know she was registering. A faint, sweet smell. The kind of smell that lives in the bottom of a fruit bowl that has been left too long. She paused. She thought it was the banana peel in the wastebasket. It was not the banana peel. The cat was sitting at the end of the hallway, 12 more inches farther from the bedroom than he had been on Thursday. He was looking at Frida. Tomasina put her hand on Frida's forehead. She was not warm. She put her hand on Frida's back. Frida did not push her away. Frida said her stomach hurt a little. Tomasina, in that moment, smelled it again. The sweet, faintly metallic odor she had described to her own students in lab safety contexts exactly 473 times. The smell of ketones in human breath. She picked up the phone. She called the pediatrician. She said, "I need you to test her for diabetes today." The pediatrician said, "Bring her in." The blood glucose, taken on a finger stick at the front desk, was 412. The pediatrician used the words diabetic ketoacidosis. The pediatrician used the words, "She's not in crisis yet, but she will be by tonight." The pediatrician called the children's hospital and told them to expect them. Frida spent 4 days in the pediatric ICU. She came home with a new diagnosis, a new insulin regimen, and a continuous glucose monitor she did not yet know how to call hers. The pediatric endocrinologist, on discharge, told Tomasina that Frida had probably been entering early ketoacidosis for at least 9 days. She used the phrase, "silent climb." She said, Ketone breath is detectable at very low concentrations to species with sensitive olfaction. Cats have less than half the receptors dogs do, but they have more than enough for this. She said, "Was there anything that made you bring her in?" Thomasina said, "My cat stopped coming to her bed." The endocrinologist was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Write that down. Write down the days. Write down the exact distance the cat moved each day. We are starting to think this matters. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one." Frida came home on a Tuesday. At 3:15, she sat on her bed, with her banana, the new monitor barely visible under her sleeve. Bartholomew climbed onto the bed. He sat on the pillow beside her shoulder. He watched her eat the banana. He accepted a small piece of crust when she shared. "Has your cat ever stopped doing something they had always done, and you later understood why? Tell us." We read every one. He did not move away from her bedroom again. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Thomasina kept the chemistry notebook she had used to teach the unit on ketones for 14 years. She wrote a new appendix on the inside back cover. The appendix had a date, an animal, and a distance in inches, day by day, for 9 days.